From the post-millennial, Tim Walz warns Minnesota could be a Fort Sumter moment after his policies cause chaos in the state. In an interview with The Atlantic, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz warned that the rising tension in the state between anti-ICE agitators and federal immigration enforcement agents could be a Fort Sumter moment for the country. I mean, is this a Fort Sumter? He questioned, adding, it's a physical assault. It's an armed force that's assaulting, that's killing my constituents, my citizens. The Atlantic noted of Walt's Fort Sumter comment, he let his question about Fort Sumter hang without an answer. Fort Sumter, which lies in the middle of South Carolina's Charleston Harbor, was the site of an April attack in 1861 that marked the official beginning of the Civil War. Walz also brought up abolitionist John Brown during his interview with The Atlantic, with the figure rising to fame after storing a federal arsenal in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia in 1859. Guns pointed at American. It's certainly not where we want to go, said Walz. I mean, this is something that Tim's been talking about for a long time. I mean, we've got the phrase, where's the off-ramp? Like, how do you defuse this? And when you have the state government clearly inciting their population, there's a possibility that they're involved because of the signal chat stuff. If it's not, if it doesn't go up to Tim Walz himself, there are people in the state government that were involved in that signal chat, helping to organize what amounts to an insurrection. It's not just a protest or just protesters. They're there specifically to inhibit ICE activities. They're there to specifically prevent ICE from carrying out their duties that are by the book, that are legally, that's what they're supposed to be doing. So if it is a Fort Sumter moment, or if it is a situation like that, it is the Democrat establishment that's to blame.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why Tim Walz is acting like he's so surprised, because like you said, he's the one who's been inciting this violence. This is his state. He's responsible. And why don't we just mention that this all happened after all of this fraud was exposed by an independent journalist, Nick Shirley. And what did they want to blame it on? Racism. You guys hate Somalians. You hate black and brown people. No, instead of focusing on the real problem, they just want to blame everyone else. But Tim Walz knew about this fraud. I believe that.
So to your point, I do think that it's convenient for Walz and for other politicians in Minnesota. But the fact that there's that signal chat, that's really, I think that really kind of shines a light on the way the Democratic Party as a whole acts, or actually probably more broadly the left. There's people that are Canadian that are implicated in this, like in the Canadian government, implicated in being involved or donating or trying to
there was an
facilitate
article
that.
about that.
Yeah, I forget who broke the story, but it's not just, it's not homegrown. It's not just people, grassroots people on the street. It's organized by the establishment left, and it's something that Tim has been going on about how the right doesn't have, an analog for that. And I mean, whether or not that's actually the case, it's not, you can't deny that the left is organized against the federal government.
Right. And if Tim Walz really cared about the people of Minnesota, his people, he would say, listen, although I don't agree with ICE, you need to stay home. Do not interact with ICE officers. Do not try to interrupt them, because you will lose your life.
Yeah.
Possibly.
They want them to lose their lives.
Well,
I think they really do. I think that they say these things and they get them to go out there. They want them to lose their lives so that they have something to be more enraged about, so that they can create more chaos. Like, that's what they want. They want the most chaos possible. I really think that, I was reading their manual. They asked them, like I said this the other night, they asked them to bring leaf blowers so they could redirect the tear gas and stuff towards the cops. They said you get extra bonus points for that. They're looking to get people hurt.
What do you mean by extra bonus points?
That's what I don't know. That's literally what it said. It said
paid
extra
protesters.
Do you want me to pull it up?
No. I mean, I believe you. I'm just wondering what they actually
the
mean by
means. I don't know. I mean,
bonus points.
This is what they want. They want pure chaos, and he wants it to be the Fort Sumter time.
Did any of you guys see the X post where there was someone was handing out pre-made signs to protesters and stuff? So I mean,
they do that in New York all the time.
So this isn't some kind of grassroots thing. It is organized. They're extremely efficient at raising money. They're extremely efficient at riling up their base, riling up the people that are honestly they're people with not a lot to lose generally. Not everyone, of course, because Pretty, the guy that was shot by the cops just the other day, like he had a life. He didn't have, I don't think he had a wife and kids, but he had a life. He was a nurse. It was a legitimate kind of life. It wasn't like some kind of vagrant or just a person that was consistently in and out of jail or whatever. But that's the shock troops, really. The people that don't have a lot to lose. They don't have families. They don't have real jobs. It's they tend to be just kind of part-time or short-term jobs or what have you, or they're just activists. Yeah. And to Lisa's point, these people are just cannon fodder, because the more of them that get hurt, the more videos that the left can use as propaganda, which is it's straight up agitprop. The more that they can use these people to turn the normal people against the administration, the better they like it.
Yeah, it's taking away from the real problem, and they're deflecting. They're, covering up the real problems that the Democrats are causing in our country. And unfortunately, this past week, I have seen, especially after the Alex Pretty situation, many conservatives falling for this anti-ICE propaganda. Yeah. And while, of course, I am very sad that Renee Nicole Good had to die, and so did Alex Pretty. I mean, don't act like, it could have been any of us.
No.
Could have never been me.
Yeah,
could have never been y'all. I'm not showing up and messing with an ICE officer.
Yeah.
Even if I think they are doing something incorrect.
But to that point, that is what they want. The left wants people to think. They want people to think that these were just innocent people walking through the streets doing their normal daily routine, and ICE decided that they were going to attack them and beat them down or what have you. And that's just not the case. Like, people say it all the time on X. They're like, it could have been you, and it could have been. And to your point, no, it couldn't have been me, because I wouldn't go to an ICE protest at all.
Yeah, I had a protester tell me last week, this was out on Long Island, they were having this Handmaid's Tale protest, and this woman told me that she believes that Renee Good was killed because she was white.
That's, that's pretty standard.
No, wasn't everybody saying like, like the black people were going around going like, look, white people, now it's happening to you too, see? And like,
yeah, they said that say her name was only for black women.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all are just racist. Got it.
I mean, look, the idea of racism is evolving significantly. 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now, probably 15 years ago, it became very in vogue to say, racism is not about color, it's power plus privilege, and that made its way through kind of society on the left. And now there's a lot of people that are just like, well, I don't care what you call me, because it's just a means to shut me up, or a means to try to delegitimize what I'm saying. And I think that, for better or for worse, that's the condition that's the situation in our society moving forward.
It's changed the terminology though. Like when people say to me like, you're racist, I'm like, yep, I am. Like, I'm not, right? I'm absolutely not. But I like want to lean into it just to be like, screw you. Like, I really get that feeling. Like, yeah, like I said the other night, like they're like, Nazi or whatever. Like, I'm not absolutely. My best friend's like a Jewish person. Like, I'm not a Nazi, but like, it makes me want to Roman salute. Like, it angers me that much. I'm not saying that. Like, I just want to lean. I just want to be whatever they hate because I hate them so
That's
much.
the plan for the radical agenda. They want you to become the villain. They're telling you
so
you
fine,
are.
I'll be it. No problem.
But then that's how they get a communist revolution. They want the government to become the fascists that they say they are, so that they can then tell the community, hey, look, we were right. Come together. Let's overthrow this. And it's the same with individuals. If they can call you a Nazi enough times, you actually start hiling. Then like they got you.
Yeah,
the left has caused
I think they
words
down
to lose meaning. Like if everything is racist, then nothing is racist. If everything is homophobic, then nothing is homophobic. It's like you just spew this nonsense over and over and over again, and then it's like, okay, well, if just everything's racist and some type of phobic, then whatever. It's like people are over it.
Right.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
That's a really great point. People that are consistently told that guy's racist, and they're like, wait a minute, I know that guy, or I've seen that guy interacting with people, and he's not that. And when you hear that enough, you're like, well, I just can't believe when you call people racist. I don't believe it. Your accusations no longer mean anything. It's like calling Trump a Nazi, right? Like Donald Trump is clearly not a National Socialist, right? He is, and Nazi is a very specific thing. Even if you're calling, like, if they were to just call, when they call people fascist, then you're like, all right, maybe you have some kind of reason to equate a person with a fascist, because fascism is usually nationalist and authoritarian, and so, you know, maybe there's some kind of similarity, but Nazi's a very, very specific thing.
Nah, bro. They want Trump to get that living space with the German people.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
what it's all about, guys.
It's whatever my iPhone tells me today.
Right.
Yeah,
that's literally what it is.
But the phrase Nazi, it's just so watered down, and so people just, they hear it and it's like water off a duck's back. They don't care. You know?
Exactly.
There are real racists too, which is the sad thing about all this conflation, is that if someone really kind of ignorantly thinks that, I'm not going to say that people are different, and people are different based on their racial histories, but yeah, any kind of superiority based on a genetic code is like, bro, you need to teach kids early that that's not necessarily like genetic homogeneity happens when you crossbreed, you get the strengths from different genomes. And if people don't know that, it gets lost in the shuffle. It's kind of a tangent.
I mean, that's kind of what it was like, you know, in the 90s and early aughts. Like, the idea of being a racist was so foreign to most people. You know, I'm an old guy now, and like when I was growing up, like nobody cared what color your skin was, and you did like. It was not an issue. There was very rarely did you hear people throw around the term racist, because in the 90s and early aughts, people were just like, yeah, that's kind of old boomer stuff, you know, or like maybe my grandfather made some kind of remarks that were like, you know, but
KKK,
yeah,
like, that's what racism was back then.
And so it was largely, you know, considered a thing of the past, you know. And then with the advent of the way that the left has been behaving, where they again changed the meaning of the phrase racist and said, oh, everybody's racist. If you're white, you're racist. And they've really tried to awaken a critical racial consciousness. And they say that kind of stuff all the time. They want people to consider themselves a race, and they want people to focus on that, to the detriment of our society, right? Like we are not a better society if people are like, no, I'm going to make sure that I'm focusing on my people as opposed to focusing on the United States as a whole, right? Like if you're like, hey, I think that everyone in the country deserves the same opportunities and the same rights and to be treated the same. That's generally what it used to be like, but that's not what people want nowadays.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.